It's a special day in the Homestand Sports studio as I have the pleasure of being joined with filmmaker, director, but most importantly, a fellow Vancouver native, Jayme. Kat is in Toronto this weekend for a screening of her film, The Grizzly Truth, the story behind why the Vancouver Grizzlies left Vancouver for Memphis. Kat, how are you? And thank you for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having me, Justin.
Absolutely. Let's just get right into it. This is your second film on the Grizzlies. You, of course, did the one Finding Big Country, where you found Bryant Reeves. I watched that and I loved that documentary. But why was this story, The Grizzly Truth, so important to tell?
I've always, even when I was making Finding Big Country, this was like the ultimate goal, to tell the full story of the Grizzlies, just because their story hasn't really been covered in depth. And I wanted to be the filmmaker and the storyteller to do that. So yeah, this has been a lifelong dream of mine. Been dreaming about this since I was in film school back in 2010, and I'm just very grateful to have the opportunity to tell the story of the Grizzlies.
Mhm. Now, I've watched previous interviews, and just for reference, I'm 26. So when the Grizzlies left town, I was, I think, 5 or 6 years old. So I really don't remember them. I still have ticket stubs from games but I don't remember in photos. But you were kind of in that prime sweet spot age of when the Grizzlies were in town. What was the impact of an NBA team in Vancouver? What type of impact did that have on you?
Yeah, I mean, I was 6. So I was 6 when they came and
Mhm.
12 when they left. And I was at that perfect age when I was too young to really understand how much we were losing, because all I remember when I think about games is just how magical they were. And so, what I love about the story about the Grizzlies is even though we weren't the greatest team, they still made the Grizzlies still made a huge impact in the community, in the lives of young Vancouverites, young Canadians like myself. The Grizzlies taught me how to dream big, and that feeling has stuck with me throughout my entire life, and is sort of the inspiration and the feeling that kind of drove me to make this film and to spend again over a decade dreaming, and trying to I spent years trying to track down everyone within the organization.
Absolutely. They also, I think, had one of the best mascots in NBA history in Super
Super
Grizz.
Grizz.
I absolutely loved him. Although I do recall stories of when I went to games, I'd be absolutely terrified of him. But now looking back on, he clearly was the best mascot in NBA history. When you were making this movie, was there an end goal that you were trying to accomplish, or what was, quite simply, what were you trying to accomplish from making this film?
Yeah, I mean, giving fans closure, that was a really important to me as a filmmaker. There are a lot of heartbroken fans that still exists, myself included, with the Grizzlies. And so I wanted to make sure that we were doing justice to the film, giving everyone who was a part of the Grizzlies organization a chance to speak and tell their side of the story. So that was another goal of mine when making the film.
Now, throughout the process of making the film, what were some of the challenges you had to overcome, or that kind of, you had to roadblocks you had to kind of hop over to kind of make sure this film and this project got completed?
The two, kind of big obstacles that I can think of, number one is just COVID.
Hmm.
We actually had to halt the production, and I wasn't really sure how, especially in the early days of COVID, because I was going to be in the film again, like I was in Finding Big Country. And with COVID, what does that mean when I'm interacting with players? And luckily, and I'm very grateful that everyone on my team, we were able to sort of pause the production for about a year, and we only began shooting when me and my entire team were double vaccinated. Especially because as a documentary filmmaker, you're traveling all around, you're meeting people, you're going into their homes, so we wanted to make sure that everyone was protected, especially my subjects.
Hmm.
And the other kind of obstacle was just like trying to track everyone down. Like all these players live all across the states, and I knew the story wouldn't be 100% complete without Sharif Abdurrahim, Mike Bibby, Bryant Reeves, Stu Jackson, Steve Francis. So those are my top five subjects that I was trying so hard to track down. And luckily, the stars magically aligned and we were able to get all five.
Yeah, I saw in the trailer you had, Mike Bibby, you had Sharif, you had all the big names, like you said, all the stars kind of perfectly aligned for this. And you actually had the premiere in Vancouver back in October, where you had the first ever Grizzlies reunion. Can you just touch on how cool that was for you, being a fan, seeing all those Grizzlies guys back together in Vancouver?
Yeah, I mean, again, you have to remember I'm a childhood fan of the NBA and of the Grizzlies, and so getting the opportunity to meet all these players that I watch, on the sidelines, like maybe in like the nosebleeds, and getting to know them as people, and as human beings, they become my friends. It's just been such a I can't even like I've had so many pinch me moments during the making of this film. And whenever I would interview a subject, I'd say like you just wait until you come back to Vancouver. Let me show you how much the team is still loved. And so it was really such a special thing to bring back. We brought back Tony Massenberg, Antonio Harvey, George Lynch to Vancouver, and of course Steve Francis came too. And they were blown away by just how much love the city has for the team. And they were so inspired by that they want to keep the momentum going. So we're trying to brainstorm ways to continue to keep the love and the spirit of the Vancouver Grizzlies alive.
Absolutely. Seeing a film like this and having all these guys come back, kind of segue into that, could this film act as a catalyst or something to whet the appetite of the NBA to bring a team back? Because I'm a firm believer that we deserve a second chance for an NBA franchise, because it will absolutely work. You see, when the Raptors come to town, they sell out in minutes. Can this film act as a catalyst to bringing the NBA back to Vancouver?
Justin, I love that. I mean, that is like, as a filmmaker, that is one of the ultimate goals of this film. If I could, in a small way, be a part of the movement to bring a team back, that would be, a dream come true for me. And that is one of the reasons why I made this film. I believe film is a very powerful medium. It's why I became a filmmaker. And I do, I'm hoping that this film can start the conversation going. It can show the NBA that we need another team. So Adam Silver, if you're listening, bring back the NBA to Vancouver, please.
We're definitely going to send this to Adam Silver,
Yeah.
act as a recruiting pitch to bring the NBA back to Vancouver. Fun question I have for you. I can't cheer for the Memphis Grizzlies. It's just, I won't allow me to do it because they left. Do you cheer for the Grizzlies? Do you watch the Grizzlies? Are you a John Morant fan?
So, have you seen the film yet, Justin, or not yet?
I have not yet. No.
Okay. So I'll say, like, you got to watch the film. Got to
Okay.
watch the film. Just because and there's no spoilers, but
Mhm.
I feel you. I 100% understand where you're coming from. But throughout the making of this film, I definitely grew as a person, and I learned a lot of things along the way. And my views on Memphis have definitely changed, but I don't want to give it too much away. Another goal, again, there are many goals of this film. Another goal is to kind of bridge that gap between Vancouver and Memphis. And the film does touch on my fandom and how that potentially could evolve into the love for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay. Okay. Well, I will go when I watch it, I will watch it with an open mind, and
Yes.
I will try to maybe fall in love with the Memphis Grizzlies potentially. Now, it's kind of a hot button question I have here because everybody loves the OG teal Grizzlies jerseys. Like, they're still one of the hottest selling jerseys in NBA history. But I prefer the black ones. Remember the black ones with the
Yeah.
Vancouver across that?
Vancouver.
Which
Yeah.
side of the argument do you fall on? Are you more of a, like, do you love the teal ones or do you love the black ones? Which ones do you like?
So I love the black ones too, but the turquoise ones, those ones are like I'll have to go with the turquoise
Okay,
because
you gotta
those
go. You gotta stick with the OG one. Okay, I
yeah,
respect
yeah, yeah,
that. I
yeah.
respect that. Okay. Finally, Kat, can you just let everybody know why you are in Toronto and where they can watch the film and fall in love with the Grizzlies, just like all of us did?
So starting tomorrow, the Grizzly Truth is having its theatrical release across Canada. We're in 11 cities across Canada, which is so exciting. Thanks to my team at Photon Films. And I'm here in Toronto because tomorrow we're premiering having the Toronto premiere of the film, 7:30 p.m. at the Hot Doc Cinema. Steve Francis is in town. I'm in town. Jimmy King, who's an OG Raptor and member of the Fab Five, is in town. We will also be having a basketball open gym and skills competition tomorrow from 1 to 4 p.m. So this is before the screening, sort of like a pre-screening event. And Steve, Jimmy, and myself will be there. It's going to be led by Slam Canada. So yeah, we're really excited about that.
Well, I will do my best to be there tomorrow. And I want to thank you for joining me this morning. I know your schedule is crazy busy with media and stuff like that. So thank you for taking time out of your day to come walk down memory lane and remember the Grizzlies and hopefully act as a catalyst to bring them back.
Thank you, Justin. Thanks for having me.
No problem.